I was going to ask about your opinion on the carbon plate. Where do you stand with that?
It's probably not a good idea to ask an old guy like me. I speak for the majority where they called the shoe the 4% for a reason, and it added 3 to 4 minutes of improvement for a lot of the runners at the top end, and that really muddies the waters. And what I will say is that I was fortunate to break Ron Clark's Australian 5K record, and he did run that on cinders, despite the fact that I ran mine on a Mondo track. But the improvement in and around the upgrades to tracks was nothing as astronomical as what we saw with shoes. And, you look at Robert De Castella's Australian record that stood for such a long time, and I think we've now got 4 or 5 that are under that in a small period of time. And, there's definitely impacts that it's had. I no longer look at times when it comes to racing, but I certainly look at places. So if everyone's wearing the shoes and you've got 100 people in a race, all things are even.
Yep.
So it is about place. But I certainly don't really take much weight anymore when it comes to times because everybody's running fast. Like 2:10's not even a big deal anymore. In the US, they don't even really worry about the 4-minute mile. The 4-minute mile was such the benchmark. But now with the bank tracks and the springs in the track and then the spikes, everyone's running under 4 minutes. So, one of the greatest global agencies that there are, which is Track and Field News, they've even said we're no longer rating and grading the top athletes based on that.
Do you reckon it's kind of dampened, I guess, the beauty of running? Because, if you take back to, I guess, your era, you didn't have that kind of access, and you look to the runners that, back in your day, where if you had access to the carbon plate, you would be running a lot quicker as well. Do you think it's kind of dampened, the
There's
running?
2 ways to answer that. The first way is running's beautiful no matter what.
Yeah.
The people that are involved in running today don't know any different, right? Like in my time, I didn't know any different with Derek Clayton and with Ron Clark. Like you knew. We also had major appreciation and respect. It's a lot different these days because everyone's doing it. And if anyone is critical about it, they're always seen as being jealous or, upset. Yeah. And that's not the way at all. Like I said, I really value those that run at that top level. But I feel like now that things are just so distorted that, what is 207 anymore? Like when everyone's running under that. Everything has moved really quickly, which is probably why we see less interest at the top end, and we're seeing way more interest now back with community and recreational running, where races all over the world are selling out, and primarily because there probably is that huge gap now between what was realistic and reality versus now what's not. So, it's, as I said, for me, I try to stay away from it. It's a tough one to answer without people judging to conclusion. So I'm only speaking in the facts, and they are that Nike called it the 4% for a reason. There is a 3 to 4 minute improvement with people that do wear the shoes. And granted, there are some that aren't biomechanically sound, so the shoes don't work. But I've also seen people that aren't biomechanically sound get that added advantage by wearing the shoes. But we've also seen major updates in nutrition, sleep and recovery, also medical. So there's a lot of things that have changed, but the shoes have been the biggest advantage that runners today have received.
Yep. And then the carbon plate as well. Do you, with the kind of design that it is, do they tend to get more injuries with a carbon plate, or it's a bit like, because with the normal shoe, am I right in saying that it kind of trains your muscle to a certain area or whatever, and then with a carbon plate, it kind of dysfunctions that in a way?
For some people, yes, but for a lot, no. Like they recover quicker. Like they've got, it's basically a spring, so they're bouncing, and so the shoe is absorbing. Like you've got that 40 mil drop, so it's absorbing the impact, and that's less impact on the ankle, the knee, the hips, and everything that aligns. Whereas back in the day, you wore a much thinner shoe, you hit the ground a lot harder, and you would have, that ripple effect of ankle, knee, hip, back, sacroiliac joint issues. But with the shoes, as I said today, they're helping people recover. They're helping people train more, which, is a good thing. I guess probably physical therapists and massage therapists are the ones that might be impacted a little bit differently now with not having as many elite athletes to service. But like all things, it takes time. So if someone was going from couch to 5K, you wouldn't have them just step out there and run, right? There are small steps to gradually build them up, become accustomed to running. And that's the same with footwear. Like, you wouldn't just put them on and go out and run in them. Yep. They would take a little bit of time to adjust. And everyone's running form's different as well. So trying to adjust and accommodate would take a difference in time for different people.
So carbon plate wouldn't work with everyone?
Not everyone, no, but I would say that for those that need it, it does. And for some people, it's also the added psychological benefit, right? So it's like, these shoes must work. They get on there and people are looking for those added advantages, and they'll read all the, the testimonials. And so for them, in their head, they're like, they've got to have it. But we've also seen such a seismic change now with all the brands. All the brands have carbon plated shoes. I mean, I remember Ultra, they were known as the zero drop shoes. Well, now they've got carbon plated shoes. Hoka, everyone laughed when they first come out because they look like a clown shoe, but now everyone's got the extra foam that's in it. Things have changed drastically now when it comes to footwear, and all brands seem to be on equal footing. Hoka, On, and Adidas are just as competitive as Nike, and if anything, probably Nike's dropped in that performance wear because the other brands have been able to get up to their level and probably improve that product a bit more. You mentioned that, like Hoka, they were a clown shoe, and then now they're really popular. What makes them all of a sudden people want them? Well, it's performance driven. So, if you saw one of the famous athletes in the world wearing the shoes and they're talking about improvement, you would want them. And Nike's marketing of that 4% was what people wanted. They were just like, oh, they're going to make me faster, without even wearing them. They just knew that if they got them, that was going to improve their performance 4%. And so people bought into that. But then the other brands obviously were so far behind, they had to try and catch up to get to them. And as I said, now it's accessible for everybody. I've never worn them, and I'm now old school that I don't want to. I still wear just a very basic structured shoe because that works for me, and I don't run hardly at all anymore. Like, it's probably 3 times a week and 30 minutes for those runs. So I don't need to buy, a $300 or $400 pair of shoes